sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the vast African plains, painting the sky in hues of amber and violet. As the last vestiges of daylight faded, the oppressive heat gave way to the cool embrace of twilight. The Tsavo River shimmered under the dusky light, its gentle currents whispering secrets to the wind. Nearby, the workers of the Uganda Railway were finishing their day's labor, eager to retreat to the safety of their camps, where fires were already being lit to ward off the encroaching night. But beneath the golden glow of dusk, an unspoken terror stirred. Whispers had begun to circulate among the laborers. Rumors of unseen predators that moved like shadows, ghosts that stalked the camp by night, striking with a ferocity unlike anything they had ever known. It was the year 1898, and deep in the unforgiving wilderness of British East Africa, what is now modern-day Kenya, an ambitious and monumental project was underway. The British Empire, in its relentless drive to expand and exploit the riches of its colonies, had embarked on the construction of the Uganda Railway. This railway, a lifeline through the wild interior, was meant to connect Lake Victoria in the heart of Africa to the coastal city of Mombasa, bringing the untamed lands under the control of imperial trade. But what was meant to be a triumph of engineering soon became a tale steeped in terror and blood, a dark chapter that would leave an indelible mark on history. It all began in March of that year, when workers stationed at the Tsavo River camp started disappearing. At first, the absences were chalked up to the usual dangers that lurked in the wild: disease, desertion, or the occasional predatory animal. Africa was a harsh and often unforgiving place, and death was an ever-present companion to those who dared to challenge its wild heart. But as the disappearances increased, so too did the unease among the men. Whispers began to spread, whispers of something malevolent that prowled the night. The bodies of the missing, when found, were so savagely mutilated that the very sight of them turned the stomachs of even the most hardened workers. The rumors grew wilder with each retelling. These were not mere animals, the men said. They were demons, creatures from another world sent to punish them for disturbing the land. The first signs of trouble came in the dead of night. Workers would be yanked from their tents, their desperate cries quickly drowned out by the howling winds of the African night. When the bodies were discovered at dawn, they were mangled beyond recognition, torn apart as though by some supernatural force. Fear gripped the camp, and soon the men began to speak in hushed tones of the Ghosts of Tsavo. Lions, but not like any lions they had ever seen. These were monstrous beasts, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. And worst of all, they seemed to kill for the sheer pleasure of it, not out of hunger or necessity. At first, Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson, the British engineer overseeing the railway's construction, dismissed the workers' stories as mere superstition. Wild animals were a fact of life in Africa, and the occasional lion attack was hardly cause for alarm. Patterson, a man of science and reason, believed that the men's fears were driven by ignorance and overactive imaginations. But the evidence soon became undeniable. One morning, he arrived at the camp to find one of the tents overturned, the ground stained with blood, and the dismembered remains of a worker scattered across the site. It was then that Patterson realized he was dealing with something far more dangerous than he had ever anticipated. The camp fell into chaos. Fear spread like wildfire through the ranks, and the once disciplined workforce began to falter. Many laborers refused to leave their tents at night, while others fled the project altogether, preferring the uncertainty of the African wilderness to the horrors that lurked in the shadows. Those who stayed built crude barriers around their tents, piling thorny branches and lighting fires in the hopes of deterring the marauding beasts. But the lions, undeterred by these feeble defenses, grew bolder with each passing night. They tore through the barriers as though they were nothing, dragging men from their beds and leaving behind only blood-soaked earth and the mangled remnants of their victims. Patterson, who had hunted wild game across the British Empire, decided that he would take matters into his own hands. He set traps around the perimeter of the camp, reinforced the flimsy fences with stronger materials, and stood guard with his rifle. Yet, night after night, the lions continued their reign of terror. They were cunning creatures, far more intelligent than any predator Patterson had ever encountered. They evaded every trap, outsmarted every attempt to stop them, and seemed to mock the men with their audacity. The lions would strike when least expected, vanishing into the night before a shot could be fired. As the weeks dragged on, the situation became unbearable. The laborers, once a disciplined and efficient workforce, were now paralyzed by fear. They spoke of the lions as if they were supernatural beings, spirits of ancient warriors, cursed to roam the land in search of vengeance. Some swore they had seen the lions walking on two legs, while others claimed the beasts could vanish into thin air. The line between reality and nightmare blurred, and even the most rational men began to question what was real. Desperation turned to obsession for Patterson. Night after sleepless night, he sat in ambush, his rifle trained on the darkness. Every rustle of the grass, every snap of a twig, sent his heart racing as he waited for the lions to show themselves. But they were elusive, striking only when he was least prepared. The camp became a place of dread, and the men lived in constant fear of the next attack. Then, in December, 9 months after the nightmare had begun, Patterson finally got his chance. One of the lions, a massive beast with golden eyes that seemed to glow in the darkness, approached the camp. Patterson took aim and fired. The shot rang out across the plains, and the lion roared in pain, but it did not fall. It fled into the night, leaving behind a trail of blood. For days, Patterson tracked the wounded lion through the dense underbrush, following the blood-stained trail it had left in its wake. Every step was fraught with tension, every sound a reminder that the predator could be lying in wait, ready to strike. When Patterson finally cornered the beast, he fired again and again, emptying his rifle until the massive creature collapsed. It had taken 8 bullets to bring the lion down, but the nightmare was far from over. A second lion, more aggressive and determined than the first, still prowled the camp. For 3 more weeks, the men lived in terror, knowing that the second beast would soon return, and return it did. One night, Patterson took up a position on a raised platform, his rifle at the ready. The lion appeared, stalking the edge of the camp, and Patterson fired. The first shot hit its mark, but the lion lunged forward, undeterred by the wound. Patterson fired again and again, and it took 11 bullets before the second lion finally fell. When the bodies of the lions were examined, Patterson was stunned. These were not ordinary lions. They were massive, nearly 10 feet long from nose to tail, and their lack of manes gave them an eerie, almost otherworldly appearance. Their teeth were unusually worn, a sign that they had been feeding on something far tougher than the flesh of wild animals. And when their stomachs were opened, the truth was revealed: fragments of human bones. In total, the 2 lions of Tsavo were believed to have killed over 100 people, though some estimates put the number as high as 135. Even today, scientists and historians debate what made these lions so uniquely bloodthirsty. Some suggest that a scarcity of natural prey in the region forced the lions to hunt humans. Others believe that they may have developed a taste for human flesh after scavenging the bodies of slaves who had perished on the long and brutal caravan routes through the area. But there are those who believe that something far more sinister was at play, a force beyond the realm of science. The Ghosts of Tsavo, as they came to be known, remain one of the most chilling mysteries in the history of human-animal encounters. Their preserved remains now reside at the Field Museum in Chicago, where visitors still marvel at the lifeless forms of the lions that once terrorized a generation. And as the decades have passed, their legend has only grown. Some say the spirits of the Tsavo lions still roam the wilderness, waiting, watching, hungry for their next prey. What do you think? Do you believe the Tsavo lions were driven by hunger, a lack of prey, or perhaps something far more sinister? Something supernatural that science has yet to explain. The mystery endures, and the debate rages on. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss the untold secrets of the African wilderness. If you enjoyed this thrilling tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more chilling stories from history. And remember, the world is full of legends and mysteries. Who knows what lurks in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered next? Stay curious, stay vigilant, and until next time, keep your eyes open, because you never know when another legend will come to life.